Hello everyone, I'm Chestic44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2. Last episode, making it back onto the station, we took care of the thing we had to do for Cadet. With that done, we managed to get enough that we now have improved Intuit, which is going to be useful. Intuit and Interface. Next, I'm going to work on trying to get Engineer boosted and then Engage, and then I'll try to get level 4 for those things. Though that's going to take a while, I think. Anyway. With that taken care of, I think what we're going to do is go to this ice-rich asteroid for the survey that was asked for. Let's take Bliss and Eugene. That's all the crew we have right now. The asteroid looms large in the cockpit's glass. Light glints off the sheets of surface ice, the same glint that must have caught Malik's attention when he was fleeing the Conway countermeasures that damaged the Springtide. There has been no sign of Conway drones or mines, but that hasn't stopped Seraphin being cautious in his approach. You have to admit, you found yourself searching the black void of space for a telltale blinking red beacon too. We're close enough to jump down to the surface. Seraphin locks down the engines. I don't see anything on the scope, but I'll keep her warm just in case. Why so jumpy? Did you see those holes in the Springtide? Seraphin responds without looking away from the controls. We hit one of those Conway mines, we'll be dust. I say we core this snowball fast. Eugene shrugs. The less time we're out here, the less likely we are to run into anything Conway left behind. Simple. Sure, but fast means messy, and messy means more damage to the ice. We don't need to crack the shelf and lose half the water we came to survey. Who said anything about messy? Eugene stretches, unclipping from his seat. Fast and clean. Easy. You unclip from your seat and kick off towards the airlock. The scale of the asteroid is troubling, but Seraphin assured you on the journey here that surveying it would be easy enough. Just take a sample from the deep ice for testing. The problem, he said, is getting down that deep. You'll have to cut away at the ice, dig yourself a hole, and doing so will create fractures in the shelf. The asteroid may be big, but it is held together with only a weak gravitational force. The more the ice is cracked away, the less there is for the far spindle to harvest, something you doubt Malik will be happy about. You push the worry to the back of your mind and get suited up. Something on your mind? Bliss drifts up beside you and pulls a suit from the rack. I just hope we don't mess up. Yeah, me too. I don't want to jinx it, but it seems simple enough. Can't say rock, or in this case ice cutting, is my usual strength, but it's gotta be simpler than slicing a hull without touching any of the internals. Bliss zips up their suit. We'll be fine. Bliss's reassurance that they don't have any experience with the job you're about to do doesn't exactly calm your worries, but their nonchalant attitude helps, especially when you consider the volume of ice you're about to start cutting into. Cheer up! Bliss punches you on the arm as you get into the airlock. Might never happen. The lock cycles and you find yourself staring out at the glinting surface of the asteroid. 1 second, Sleeper. Seraphin's voice comes over the comms. I'm seeing something here. Some kind of man-made shaft on the far side of the asteroid. Interesting. Eugene has stood beside you in the airlock, but in this vacuum you only hear him through the comms link. Crews sometimes stash goodies out on rocks like this. Let's go take a look. He pats you on the shoulder. Just hold up. Seraphin's voice cuts through. The survey is our first priority, and the integrity of the water ice. Hunting for buried treasure comes dead last on the to-do list. You can almost hear his eyes roll through the comms link. Don't get distracted. You squint at the rock and spot a dark recess just over the curve of the asteroid. That'll be the distraction then. You refocus on the ice sheet. Time to get started. So we have ice stress. Here's the ice sheet. To get a survey of the water quality and volume, you'll need to take a sample core from the deepest section of ice. We can, rather than scanning for a sampling location, you can make one by chipping away at the surface ice to reach the core. This is an aggressive approach. Or, a section-by-section surface scan will guide you to a good sampling location, but with such a vast sheet, progress will be slow. And Yujin is not good with either of these. Shouldn't use him. For the frozen shaft, frozen and dark, descending the shaft to whatever lies beneath is a dangerous and delicate process. We can explore the cracks. The shaft may be clogged with ice, but dark cracks suggest a more subtle way through, even if it will be slow going. Or, the fastest way to descend the shaft is to break away the ice clogging it, but if you aren't careful, you could damage the asteroid's structure. Well, you can do a 6 there. And that gets us a good way in. Unfortunately, everyone gave some very poor rolls here. We can do a 6 to slice away some ice, which does a bit, and we can survey the surface here. That did a bit. Okay, unfortunately, Bliss is not going to be able to do much without some good rolls. What's the chance here? Yeah, this is going to take a while, but it's not the worst. And look at that. We're already halfway done. If we have some good rolls to slice away the ice, we'll be able to get in quickly. This bit, well, Bliss can do a bit of exploring the cracks here for something. Yep, that actually does help. That adds stress. I'm not going to clear the ice, because that's a bad idea. Okay, that's everyone done. It's one cycle. Let's go for another. Let's get some good rolls here, please. We got some very good rolls. Okay, Bliss can slice away the ice easily here. That's good. Okay, that not as good, but this should allow us to get in. There we go. Now we have extract core sample. Time to drill down into the deep ice and extract a core of the asteroid's ice for testing and evaluation. Careful now. A deep core sample of the ice should give you what you need to analyze the asteroid and report back to Malik. Looks like Yujin's the only one who's really going to be able to do anything here. But you can at least do a bit. Okay, that was a negative. That is bad. We can, and meanwhile, I can keep looking through here to try and get through. 2 more of these should get me in. 1 more. That was a stress, but I still have a stress available. That was also a stress. Crap. Okay then, now 1s are going to damage my dice. That is very much bad. And one of our dice is broken. Wonderful. Freaking wonderful. Okay, you are going to have to use this. Get into the core. Well, there's a bit of stress, but you can keep going. More stress, also bad. Let's see. I don't need much. A 5 might be enough. A passage has been found through the shaft. Time to find what is waiting in the darkness below. We got a bunker. Some mysterious terminals sit in the dark. Their cases may be rusted, but perhaps the drives can be spun up. What was this place? If you can get one of the terminals started, perhaps you can extract some answers. And scavenge hardware. You inspect lumps of corroded scrap frozen in the walls. This place looks grim, but maybe within the ice you can find something useful. Useful components. Okay, well, I can at least scavenge the data. One more success and we're good. Okay. A flickering screen catches your eye in the dark of the bunker. A distorted female face, further refracted by the surrounding ice, stares at you from the terminal with blank white eyes. You move closer, straining to hear her voice, but the recording is silent, or perhaps the terminal's audio output is broken. All you can do is watch the pale face as it contorts through the corruption and noise. It could be explaining some important secret, long forgotten, or just recounting a personal anecdote. It's hard to tell. Circles and curving arcs flash across the face, graphical visualizations of orbits and flight plans. You squint at them, the shapes unknown to you. And then, as soon as it starts, the playback ends, leaving a frozen frame on the screen, a ghost face circled by orbits. You slot a drive into the terminal and copy what residual data is left, unsure where it might lead you. Once it is done, you shut off the terminal once and for all. As you leave the bunker, the pale face flashes once more in your mind. Those blank eyes, flat stare. Was that a human or something else? You turn the image over in your mind, unsure of its importance. Solheim data! That does sound useful. Bliss, this is a rough attempt, but try it. Oh, that is bad. Eye stress. Okay. Gotta do another rest. Okay, Eugen had some good rolls. Go ahead, Eugen. Let's see if we can extract this core sample. Long as you don't get a negative, this is it. You got a negative. Okay, looks like I gotta waste my 6 in order to get this. Got some stress, but we got the core. The sample core, a long and weighty cylinder of cloudy ice, comes up out of the borehole cleanly. It glows in the sunlight, catching the rays in its frosted interior. Nicely done, Sleeper, Bliss chirps through the comms. Never caught an asteroid before, but the result is pretty. Let's just hope it's drinkable. Let's not melt it down for liquid refreshment just yet, Seraphin chimes in. It's likely packed with unpleasant impurities. The question is, are they the kind of impurities the far spindle can filter out? Let's get it up to the ship, and we can run the analysis on the trip back. Seraphin pauses. And before you get any ideas about digging around on that asteroid some more, remember that if we break away any of the ice, Malik will likely dock our pay. You start the journey back up to the ship, dragging the sample core with you. As you do, you look back down at the asteroid, wondering if it might be the bargaining chip Malik has been looking for. You'll know soon enough. Okay. Well, we can still try this. It's gonna be a little risky, but it might work. That was a good roll. That was not a good roll. If we have one more fail, we're out. We got him. We got the rusted treasures. I'm not sure what exactly we picked up, but we are successful. We can get out of here now. I missed what it was. Okay. Either way, we can leave the contract. Let's report into the guy. On the journey back from the asteroid, you pored over the tests Malik had given you to run, improvising the necessary equipment from your mess. Each one produced spools of data, much of which you couldn't parse. Arriving into the vicinity of Far Spindle, you broadcast these strings of data to Malik's personal terminal on the Springtide as instructed. Despite all his preparation, you are still surprised when you find Malik standing at the far side of the docking tunnel as you leave the rig.
Sleeper, I thought it was better to come down here, away from my crew, to discuss your findings.
Trust issues?
I trust my crew implicitly, but they, like me, are members of the Lotek Syndicate, and so they answer to an authority higher than mine. One that rewards loyalty and obedience. I am simply guarding my position as captain, as any of them would. As I suspected, the asteroid was indeed rich with water ice. Thankfully, the contaminants can be dealt with.
He speaks matter-of-factly, betraying little emotion.
With the data you provided, I should be able to convince the Far Spindle administration of its worth.
Then we're good. Malik smiles.
That remains to be seen. Before I make payment, I would like to ask, in person, if you saw anything else of consequence. Anything to share with me that might affect my dealings with the Far Spindle?
He folds his arms across his chest.
I would prefer not to have any surprises when they go to retrieve the water.
Well, there was a shaft.
Interesting. It is likely of no consequence, but if there is something of value there, it could play to my benefit. I will mention the potential of additional salvage to the Far Spindle administration. Given the data, it doesn't seem to have impacted the ice.
Malik reaches into his pocket and produces a stack of cryochits bound carefully with a strip of paper.
250 cryo, as agreed.
You take the chits and quickly tuck them away.
With that, our business is concluded, Sleeper. I must speak with the administration to negotiate the release of my ship and then prepare for immediate departure. The Syndicate will be eager for my successful return. Thank you. Should our paths cross again, I will see that it will be to your benefit.
And that is a success. Only one cycle, so we still have a couple cycles in order to regather things. Whenever we next rest, we should source supplies. But we have so much money right now. We can use this. And I think I'm fine doing this venture gambling one more time. You are barred from the Beltborn venture. Security doesn't seem to care whether you think that's fair or not. Well, we did get money from it. We won several times, but we got money. So I'll take it. We could do more here in order to gain some money. Where are we going to go next? That is Hellion Gate, which will continue the main quest. We've also got Holmes Rock. I think it would be a good idea to head to Hellion Gate to try and get more information, but we will need more stuff before we do. So I think I can go ahead and, well, I can do some work here. So it'll get me some cryo. That loses me energy. Wait, new location discovered? What do you mean new location discovered? Hang on. There's nothing else. There's nothing here about a new location. There's no other new location here. What the heck is that about? Anyway, go ahead and repair the dice. I said repair the dice. Well, we have a minor glitch, but I'll just have to deal with it. It'll go away next chance we get. Okay. I think we can do with a rest here. Regain some supplies, I think. Yep, we regained some supplies, and there's the glitched die. Okay. Let's gather up some more money here. You realize many of the signals are ghost versions of the same transponder. The crew are impressed. You've saved them a lot of work. And if I do one on this side... Working with the arrays means being delicate and structured in your requests. You manage to get them to respond. We have so much money right now. Okay, that lost energy. But that's fine. We'll be getting a recovery of energy shortly. Let's go ahead, fill up our fuel, and fill up on supplies. And I think we're fine. We can head out and head to the new location. I don't know why it said that there was a new location. Strange. Derelict Solheim checkpoint. So that's what it is. Okay, let's go to the Hellion Gate. Hellion Gate hangs over the rig. Its corroded arches resemble the dislocated vertebrae of some vast, long-dead serpent. That's one big, ugly scrap pile, Seraphin whistles from the pilot seat. Solheim didn't like to build them small. What was it for? Seraphin shakes his head. System's biggest door, only opened if you ask nicely. Got to be big if you want to fit every ship that visits the system through it. Bliss cuts in from the back of the cockpit. Impressive, really, building something so massive out here. Solheim like to impress visitors, sure. Seraphin leans forward, looking for the best place to enter the structure. But they also like to scan entire ships and impound those that didn't enter through the gate. Seraphin catches her eye, looking for some agreement. Not the most admirable qualities. Solheim was a curse on the system. Yeah, better off without him, that's for sure. I agree, but without them, this system would just be two gas giants and a load of rocks. No harm in recognizing it. You look out of the cockpit towards the gate, its layers of systems and rooms slowly opening to the void, peeling away cycle after cycle to reveal the bones beneath. This is where Jean-Mi mentioned you might be able to find the location of a ship with a prime ship mind amongst the old shipping manifests and Solheim records. You look over the towering structure of the gate. This is going to take some work. Suddenly, a flash high up on the gate catches your eye, a light turning on and off again for a moment. You lose track of it. Is this place inhabited? Seraphin raises an eyebrow. I doubt it. You hoping for a station-side bar? I have a feeling you'll be disappointed, unless we find an executive's old liquor cabinet. Bliss pats you on the shoulder and drifts out of the cockpit. Time to see what secrets the gate has left. Okay. Solheim records. Identifying a ship with a viable ship mine means pouring through the records of Solheim's shipping lanes. One way to get the data you need from the archive is to power up the whole machinery of it, a daunting engineering task. Or, slower than turning on the entire archive, selectively extracting records is a safer and slower method to get what you need. Well, I have some 6s that I could use to power it up and a 5 to extract the records. But what is here? Customs Hall. Once the main checkpoint for entry into the entire Hellion system, the Hellion Gate lies dark and broken, but it is not without its secrets. Dark corridors lead off into the abandoned facility. With no map and no one to guide you, picking a direction and following it is the only option. Or, once a bustling entry point, the customs hall was abandoned after the collapse. With some careful analysis, you can find what was left behind. Let's explore the corridors. I want to know what's here. There are signs everywhere that, despite being long abandoned, you are not the only visitor to the Hellion Gate. After spending some time here, you are convinced you are not alone here. But how to find the gate's residence? Derelict fuel barge. This shattered, jagged old barge once carried a fleet's worth of fuel. With care and time, you may be able to scavenge some of it for your ship. Seized cargo. A mess of confiscated cargo stretches off into the darkness. The sight instills some fear, but perhaps there's still something here yet to be picked clean. So that's how we'd be able to get more supplies if we needed. But the gate structure. Most of the gate is corroded beyond use, but deep in the structure you can still find good metal. And the gate's networks collapsed long ago, but there's data to be found in the old terminals and servers inside the structure. Interesting. I wonder what this data would be. A risky play, but I'm curious. Oh, that used up a lot of data. That gave me Solheim data, but used up a lot of energy. So I can salvage data here if I need to. I think I'm going to need to use this. That regained energy, which I kind of needed. May as well work on this. I have a 6, so I can power up the archive. That gave me a bit. And I can work on extracting the records. That helped. Okay, that's one cycle. Let's do a rest. Didn't get any supplies. We'll need to scavenge some fuel. We can do some more here. Power up the archive some more. And extracting the records, this should get us what we need. Got it. In the dark and airless void of the archive, something flickers. You have been working in the dark, picking through the guts of corroded machines, skimming the data in their corrupt memories, digging through a graveyard in search of ghosts. But now, with another flicker, the place begins to come back to life. All along the rows of benches, some of them crushed by falling ceiling panels, terminals begin to flicker into uneasy life. A cacophony of distorted sounds accompany the machines, and some of them immediately glitch and spark. Did you do this? You stand frozen as the archive glitters around you with a million shipping entries. The stream of information is overwhelming, node graphs drawing out routes and inventories, tracing a web around you in pale cyan. Suddenly they all shut off. The terminal is blinking out together, leaving a single translucent screen glowing softly in the dim room. And in that dim room, drifting towards you out of the dark, you see a figure. Is this what you are looking for? The voice crackles aggressively through your suit's local comms. Who are you? Sleeper? Is that you? You hear Junie's voice now, tense and unsure. She stops beside the single online terminal, her suited form lit in pale light. Junie! You hear the smile in her voice. Good to see you again. She pauses and glances around. Though the venue is a little unexpected. What are you doing here? I'm searching these archives too, although slightly less forcefully than you. I did have this whole speech prepared for whatever salvager was ripping through these archives so messily, not to mention aggressively, but now that I know it was you, well, I'm just glad to see you. Although you really need to be more careful, you could have taken the entire archive down the way you were working with it. These machines are decades old, you can't just rifle through them like they were a scrap pile. I saw the pattern of your queries. A prime shipmind-equipped ship, still operational at the collapse, last located in the region around Hellions Gate. You can feel how pleased she is with herself from here. That about right? Nicely done. Would you expect anything else? That's why I did the hard work for you. Junie beckons you over to the lone lit-up terminal. You drift over and see a single point, a faded transit trail beside it, sunward from the Hellion Gate. Something like this, maybe? She smiles and steps aside so you can see the screen. You check the info pane beside the map. Shipmind in use, abandoned by all hands after the collapse, tantalizingly in reach. Something like that? Well then, it's yours. But... Junie turns, and the glow of the terminal meets your eye with complete seriousness. The question is, what do you want it for? Explain about your body. You tell her what Jean-Mi told you about your shifting body transformed by some unknown influence, about the need for a prime shipmind to house your emulated mind while he runs a diagnostic process. She is silent for a moment, unsure how to respond. I'm sorry, Sleeper. But I think I can help you. I want to come with you. Junie gives you a strong look. Do you know how often someone gets out to one of those old Solheim wrecks? They are more trouble than they are worth, but contained inside there's an entire history to uncover. I need that uncover and take, you mean? This isn't like last time, I promise. I have no interest in the ship mind, but everything else? It's too big a chance to pass up. I know I can't force you or trick you into taking me. That's why I wanted to offer you this instead. She indicates the terminal, still showing the ship's final resting place. I hope that maybe if I helped you find what you needed, it would show I can be trusted. I trust you. Thank you for saying so. I'll send the coordinates to your ship, and I'll be hanging around the gate until you are ready to leave. She shifts in front of the terminal and plugs in her deck, tapping away at rapid speed. If you need to go get supplies from the spindle or anything else, fine. I'll wait. But if you go on this job without me, I'll get the message. You won't see me again. With that, you leave her in the archive, extracting data as you ascend back to Hellion Gate's upper levels. Okay! So we have a new thing here. I feel like I'm going to need... We can gather up some of this, some supplies. Lost some energy. And we can gather up some fuel here, I think. Out of fuel, but once we travel, I think we'll be able to. It's going to use up a lot of fuel. We're going to need to gather up more soon. Anyway, that's going to be in the next episode, because this one's gone on long enough. Next episode, we head out there and try to salvage what we can. Till then, I am Chestic44, also known as Fly. This has been a Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2, and I shall see you all next time.